let's uh let's start a series, I guess. Practically already have one where it's just me talking about random shit. So let's just talk about random shit again. Let's talk about let's talk about social norms. It is the social norm to judge people like by the cover of their books. Nobody, like hardly anybody, ever sits down to talk to somebody to see how they feel, like what's going on in their world. Like, nobody messages anybody anymore. Like, how are you doing? Do you want to hang out? It's always one person who asks everybody else. It's never those other people. And that's it's just a social norm to do that because everybody does that, and it really sucks. The whole philosophy, if everybody looked out for themselves and everybody would be cared for, what about those few people who don't look out for themselves, huh? There's always going to be those people. If everybody cared about everybody else, then everybody would have a lot of people who cared about them. There would be a lot of care in the world. It wouldn't just be, oh, I care about myself. Yeah, care about yourself, but do both. Do both. Don't just do one or the other. That's where people get stuck at. And it's kind of just sad because you see the world, and fucking I live in a crazy ass place where fucking where they kick people out because they got problems, and like not like serious, like yeah, it's serious problems, but it's the problems that led them to live here in the first place, and they're kicking people out because of that. Like, you should have expected this. You should have expected people to to do the crazy shit that they do, and they just kick them out because of it. Like, I nearly got kicked out like several times. One time because I wasn't wearing fucking shoes, which is ridiculous. And like another time, yeah, because my place was a mess, but I cleaned it up. But they gave me like they didn't like give me a warning. They're like, you're gonna get kicked out if you don't clean this place in 3 days. And it's just, I have major depression, man. Like, I can't clean sometimes. I can't do anything. I had to get a friend over here to help me clean the place. And I don't have any friends. It was like, so yeah, it was hard. And it's just the normal nowadays not to give a shit about anybody else, just to give a shit about yourself, and that's it. And it's just sad. Nobody cares about anybody else anymore. Like, I don't know if anybody ever has. Like, I seem like the only person who would ever give a shit about, like, my fellow man. Isn't that in the Bible? Give a shit about your fellow man. Verse blah, chapter blah, book blah. Who gives a shit? That should just be so. That should just be the common sense. But who has fucking common sense nowadays? Nobody does. No, nobody takes the time to think about, like, what would this person like, and just like, not even like on a fundamental level, not even on a non-fundamental level, where it's just common decency. People are fucking dicks, and fucking I had a girl screaming like bloody murder at people just pass her by, and like she's crazy too, but like she's very lucid, very lucid, and she knows what she does, and like doesn't give her, it gives her kind of an excuse, but it doesn't give her a full excuse because she knows what she's doing. She knows that she's trying to hurt somebody. She knows that she's trying to hurt like somebody's feelings or whatever. And isn't that like the entirety of what society is leaning towards? Feelings and like making other people feel better. How are we supposed to do that if we only give a shit about ourselves? We're expecting people to only to cater towards each other, but we're not expecting us to change. We're not expecting people to actually give a shit. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna pussyfoot around and just do this because I don't want to get in trouble and I don't want other people to look down upon me. It's like a social norm, but it shouldn't. It should be a social norm to give a shit. It shouldn't be a social norm to act like you give a shit. And people can tell the difference. They really can. Like if you think that you're a good person, um, you're probably a good person. But if you feel like you're a piece of shit, then again, yeah. If you feel like you're a piece of shit, then something's wrong. It's always other people, though. It's always other people who get you to feel like that. Yeah, it's yourself that gets you to feel like you're a good person, but are you really a good person? Is what I was trying to say. Are you really a good person if you don't give a shit about other people? If you just mind your own business, yeah, that's fine. But if someone needs help and like you're not there, are you a good person? Like not just like all the time, because of course you're busy, you got your own shit. But if you never ever help somebody out, never ever, are you a good person? You may follow the rules, do your own thing, but that's like 99% of society. If you don't help people out, if you don't be kind, respectful, nice, all that shit, but like you do what you want to do, are you a good person? Then again, like being a good person is all about perspective. Like you're a good person to this person, you're a good person to that person, your friends, but then you could be a total fucking dickwad to everybody else. You got to think about these things. You got to think about like, am I genuinely like, would the majority of people consider me a kind, good person? Like, not even just a kind person, but a good person. Like, I'm so caught up on this because like, just I don't see anybody doing anything. Nobody's improving the world. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And the foundation of it is health. Like, the putting more and more chemicals in our shit and like chemicals. Like, I am very sensitive to chemicals. Like, mac and cheese makes me a retard for a few days. And I ate mac and cheese this morning. That's why I keep like looking around saying repeating the same shit because I ate the same. This is a perfect example. Anyways, like you gotta the companies. We're letting the companies treat us like shit because we're saying that it's good, but we're letting them do that because they're being sneaky about it. They're slowly adding stuff to dull us down. Like they're giving us more and more drugs, not just in food in general, but like real life drugs. Like friend is taking like I forgot what it was, but it's like a street drug, but it's prescription. And she takes 3 of them a day, and like and she's pregnant, and it's gonna fuck up the baby like really hard. Like I'm no doctor, but I just know. Like I have a friend who got really fucked up from birth because they were on like, prescription drugs for their mother, her mother, and it's just there's so much wrong with the world. It's just ridiculous. There's spirals of depression and anxiety everywhere you look. You could like Coffee is a fucking spiral of depression and anxiety. Because at first you don't like it, and then you really, really like it, and then you need it. Like, that's just a mundane example, but that's like, drugs in general. Smoking in general, like, really bad. First smoking, I hated it. Ouch. Then I found like a cigarette that like instantly got me addicted. Like American Spirits. And I'm pretty young. I'm too young to be addicted to shit. I am. And it just feels like nobody is helping me. It feels like nobody's helping anybody ever. I'll see you later.